for a ride, and we have to restore that old pride, old glory. I think that is the call that he has made. Now, I have added a word that Atmanirbhar Bharat with Atmavishwas. Why I'm saying Atmavishwas? Atmavishwas is confidence, self-confidence, self-belief. So my talk is going to be focused on how do we create Atmanirbhar Bharat with Atmavishwas. People call me a dangerous optimist, by the way. And I am a dangerous optimist. And why am I dangerously optimistic? It's all because of my listeners today, the young people, the Yuva Shakti. I remember Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, our former Prime Minister, used to say, India's future is as in IT. And by that he meant information technology. I also used to say India's future is in IT, but IT as in Indian talent, because there is nothing to beat Indian talent. Okay? And I remember about 10, 15 years ago, when I used to start, I used to remind everybody that 0.06% of Indian population is generating one third of our export. And you know what is the average age of that 0.06%? 26 and a half. Generating one third of exports. It was all our youth power that actually basically did it. So my confidence comes from this talent, which is backed up by technology. And what I'm going to say is that it has to be backed up by trust. Trust coming from confidence and coming from self-confidence. The first point, therefore, when we talk about Atmanirbharta, self-reliance, let us look at, for example, manufacturing. Now, we launched Make in India, for example, and that was a great initiative. But Make in India can't be just assembled in India. It has to be invented in India. Okay? And then completing the chain from invention to innovation in India. Let me tell you why this is important. For example, you all have mobiles. Okay? And Foxconn used to make mobiles in China. And for every iPhone made, Foxconn will take $10. China would take $10. But for that, Apple would take $250. $10 versus $250. Of course, that $10 had a caveat because you will create 4.5 million jobs. Okay, because jobs are required. Whereas Apple high tech, you don't have those many jobs. So what are the three options before India? The first is to do this, sweat it out, and get $10 but 4.5 million jobs. The second is think, create, innovate, and you get $250. The third is, it is not either or, it is both. We have to create jobs on one side, but also create wealth through our innovation and creativity. So take that $10, get those jobs, but at the same time, take that $250. So that's what I mean by not just assembled in India, but invented. Now, if we keep on doing assembled in India, we are going to have challenge. And let me give you an example. If you look at mobiles, I'm just continuing with the examples of mobile because that is current. You will find our Indian companies, Micromax, Carbon, Lava, etc. 2014, if you just see, they had 45% share of the market. You know what is it today? 9%. 45% they came down to 9%. So who ate the lunch? The Chinese ate the lunch. Because they came out with Xiaomi and Vivo and Oppo, etc. And their share 5 years ago was 7.5%. Today it is 68%. So we went down from 45% to 9%, and they went up from 7.5% to 68%. Why? Because we just remained, we are trading, we are just assembling, basically, not doing any innovation. Whereas they were doing innovation. So I think the first point is that there is no substitute to innovating, and that is where research becomes important. And as I always say, research converts money into knowledge, and innovation converts knowledge into money. So research and innovation have to go together. Okay, that's the first point. The second point is that when we say Atmanirbhar Bharat, is it the option of just buy or make? Because that's what we talk about. Uh, either we'll buy technology, buy products, or we'll make technology ourselves or make products. No. The Atmanirbhar Bharat cannot rest on these two pillars. It has to have 5 pillars. And let me explain those 5 pillars. Okay? In order to remain strong. The first is buy option. The second is make option. But the other three, where you have a big role to play through research and innovation. One is buy to make better. One is make to buy better. And third is make it together. So the 5 pillars, I repeat, are buy, buy to make better, make to buy better, and make it together. And all great nations have followed these 5 pillars. So let me explain. First of all, buy. You can buy when you have dollars. You can buy technology when somebody is willing to give you. But there are many times when technology will not be given to us, basically. And they not just in strategic areas. I remember in good old days when I was on the IPCL board, we wanted alpha olefin technology. Why? Because alpha olefin sulfonates were good detergents, better than LABs. We went to Idemitsu, we went to Chevron. They would not give it to us because they would look at us as a not bottomless pit of demand, but competitors. So buying is not always easy. The second point is make. And make is, of course, the preferred option. Now, while we use this option of buy or make, we have seen the dramatic change. For example, before the coronavirus pandemic hit, we were importing 70% of the PPEs that Alok referred to, not in the way that he referred to, but these are personal protection equipment, 70%. Today, within 3 months, actually, we have created a $1.5 billion business and we are exporting. So India is completely capable of doing it. But do we have to do it only when we are pushed? Like we were pushed? We have to be proactive and do it on our own. There is nothing that is impossible, The other thing is actually buy to make better. Buy to make better means what? For example, let's look at our pharma industry. In generic drugs, for example, we are number 1 in the world. But as far as the active pharmaceutical ingredients are concerned, APIs are concerned, 68% of them we import. So what happens? If that import gets stopped, our drugs and pharma industry is in trouble. So I'm very happy to see that now the government has taken this great initiative to manufacture API in India. They have identified 50 plus, and our CSR is playing a big role on that. So buying to make better, yes, we're buying those APIs, making drugs and pharma, and then we were exporting to the rest of the world, and we became In the same way, for example, I was listening to Rajiv Bajaj on the other day, and he said we import 600 crore worth components from China, but I export 15,000 crore worth scooters. Okay, so there is a component, China component, in everything that we do somehow or the other, and I think we have to relook at what we are importing and say, hey, do we have to, like in PPE case, we quickly said, no, we'll do it ourselves, and we were able to do it. So I think this idea of Make in India, Invent in India is going to be very important. Now, Make in India would mean, again, are big companies prepared to move to India and sort of manufacture in India. 2019, September, the Nomura report actually had survey of 56 companies that were moving out of China, moving out basically, and they were looking for alternative destination. You know how many of them opted for India? Just 3. But that is a pre-COVID situation. Now, post-COVID, people have lost trust in China and they are looking at alternative. And what better destination there can be than India? All right. But we have to set our house in order. Land, labor, legislation, logistics, the cost of inputs like electricity, etc. We have to fix. And I'm happy to see that the government is at it very much, so that that so-called ease of doing business really becomes ease of doing business. What I see and predict is that India's fortunes are going to change in a big way, and we have a big opportunity. In fact, people are looking for forming partnerships with politically trusted countries, like the D10 that you must have heard. 5G, you must be seeing, there is a lot of discussion at the moment on leaving out UI and then creating alternatives. Now, Britain has proposed the D10, where India is a part of it, and countries are assembling, basically. So we used to talk about techno-nationalism, then it became techno-globalism, okay, where there were global supply chains and so on and so forth, in both trade and technology. Now it is going to be selective techno-globalism. That means some countries will come together, like say Israel, like Japan, like US, like India, etc., etc. So this is a new word where we have